Saying good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Good morning to you. Welcome to this edition of To The Point here on GBN TV. Also, those of you viewing, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, Channels 20. Those of you via social media platforms, whether you're on the Facebook page or YouTube channels, good morning and welcome. It's Thursday, the 29th today of February. With me this morning, we have the Detective Constable. That's Rodney Marshall us this morning. And he represents the Criminal Records Office. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the program this morning. How are you doing this morning,
sir? Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm doing quite well, by God's grace.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, for the benefit of the listeners, the viewers out there, the Criminal Records Office. Tell us a little bit more about that before we get into the whole conversation of what we're going to get into this morning. The Criminal Records Office.
Right. So, the Criminal Records Office, we are the central repository for all information on persons who are arrested and convicted throughout the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
All right. So once you have when you say all persons are convicted, so there's a record that is kept. So that's where folks go to get that record of any individual who may have committed a crime or anything of that nature?
Yes.
All right. Great.
Right. We are also responsible for crime scene, assisting in the forensic aspects of crime scene investigations. We also process and issue not just conviction records, but police certificates of characters. And we are also responsible for crime analysis and crime statistics for the Royal Grenada Police Force.
So when do we actually, should I say, the Criminal Records Office get involved in a matter? When do they really get involved in a matter?
Right. So usually, based on what the matter is, it needs to be a offense that is somewhat of a serious nature.
All right.
That offense is reported, or occurrence is reported to outstations, and the stations would call us, providing that they need our services. Yes.
All right. So I guess whatever department that is that of course is taking care of that issue. That's when
whatever station or department, yes.
Gets involved.
Yes.
Now tell me, when someone is convicted and their conviction record is stored, what becomes of it?
Right. So when someone is convicted, we store their convictions. Usually applications are made for court purposes.
Okay.
Let's say that person commits another offense, and that person is taken to the court. Now, that application for conviction, that record sheet, it usually accompanies them for the purpose of providing sentencing and so on.
All right. And that is basically for the prosecution part of it? Or is
yes,
also,
for the prosecution.
Or is it the defendant is also a preview to that record also?
No, the defendant is not privy to it unless the defendant has a lawyer and the lawyer requests a copy of it.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Now, how long does a person criminal history remains on file? Let's say someone commits a crime, 20 years ago. How long does that, criminal file remains on file, or that record of that what they committed remains on file?
Right, so that record will remain on file until that person applies for that record to be expunged.
All right.
Yes.
What is the process that an individual has to go through to get a record expunged?
Right. So first of all, they come to our office, and they acquire a expungement form. Right. They also make application for a police certificate of character.
All right.
Now, that application would show that that person has convictions.
All right.
And providing that their convictions has reached that category, or should I say, the convictions has reached a place where it can be expunged then.
Okay.
It has met the requirements for expungement.
All right.
Yes.
It also leads me to ask you this question also. Do all convictions that are recorded, can any conviction get expunged? Can any conviction get expunged? Or it has to be of a particular nature, time lapse and so forth?
Yes, it does have to be of a particular nature. And also, a certain amount of time has to also be elapsed, in other words, and that is based on the offense and also based on the sentence that was imposed by the magistrate or the judge.
All right. So someone of a simple offense, say like someone may have, stolen something for some reason or the other. I guess that their record will be kept of that.
Yes.
You understand? 10 years, 15 years may have elapsed. Then that individual note can apply to have that record expunged.
So let's say a person would have committed an offense, right? Let's say stealing, as you said. Now, in order for that conviction to be reflected on that person's conviction card, then they must have been convicted by the court.
All right. So once a conviction the person didn't get convicted, but there was for some reason the record was taken that they stole it, but they may not have been convicted for whatever reason the matter fell through.
Right.
That's the only process, the way they could have that record expunged. That's the only process.
Right. So if it did not come through, if it did not flow through, then that person would not have a conviction on the record.
It wouldn't have one.
No.
So that that's an automatical expulsion there of the record.
Well, I wouldn't say it's an expungement. It's you see, because how we have it is that in order for a person's record to be expunged, then they must have a record.
Okay.
In order for a person to have a record, then the magistrate must have given a sentence imposing a record.
All right. I asked a question in the way that someone may have been accused. An accusation was made of someone stealing.
Right.
In the simplest conviction I'm speaking of there now. They made an accusation was made. For some reason, it went through the court. For some reason or the other, the court didn't, charge that individual, or maybe when I say charge, they were not charged anything. So the matter was thrown out or for some reason or the other. How does that process go from there in terms of the record keeping?
A person does not get a record in that context. No. What happens is that, yes, the person was arrested. When they are arrested, they bring them to our department where they are processed.
Okay.
Now, information relating to the arrest is placed in our books.
Okay.
But as it relates to having a conviction on their file, that will not happen.
All right. And in that way, for some reason, someone is have an opportunity to go get a job. How does that process work with the records keeping there now? In terms of someone wanted a police record, as we would say in local terms, how does the process of the record keeping works there?
Right. So as I said earlier, yes, the person may have been arrested, and yes, they may have been brought to court, but a conviction, a sentence was not imposed on them.
All right.
So that does not affect them if they go for a job.
All right.
However, if a sentence was imposed, then that would affect them because that would reflect on the record.
All right. So the sentence they could be in charge or imprisonment or that sort. That's when a record is.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Interesting to know that. Now, for how long is a certificate of character valid?
Right now, 3 months.
3 months.
Yes.
All right. So that when someone comes into the office, get a certificate of character, it will be valid for 3 months.
For 3 months, yes.
For 3 months. And then I guess a reapplication for a new one has to come
Yes,
in?
sir. Yes.
All right, great, interesting. Now, can a person apply for a certificate of character at any station? They go at any station?
No, you cannot apply for a police certificate of character at any police station. However, the Criminal Records Office, we do have sub-offices. Right. We have a sub-office in Carriacou. We have one at Guave. We have one at Grenville.
All right. No.
So persons could make applications at these areas.
All right. What is the process an individual has to go through in order to obtain a certificate of character?
Right. So in order to obtain a police certificate of character, a police record, as most of us may know it, a person needs to pay $60.
All right.
So you can either pay that monies in the treasury, or you could pay it online at pay.gov.gd.
All right.
Right. After you pay that monies, you would get a receipt. Now, the treasury would issue a receipt, or if you pay it online, you would also automatically receive a receipt.
Okay.
Right. Now, that person would have to obtain 2 passport-size photos.
All right.
In accompanying with that treasury receipt, as well as a valid ID.
Right.
So it's either your passport, your voter's identification card, or your NIS card.
All right.
Now, if that person does not have an ID, let's say, take for example a student, then that person can use their birth certificate and a passport picture. But that picture must be endorsed by a GP.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How long does the process actually take? How long does that
It depends. Like I said, the $60, that's a regular payment.
Yeah.
So I just spoke to that. Now, if the person pays that $60, the process is 5 working days. So you get your record within 5 working days. However, there are other different processes. There is the express process, where a person pays an additional $50 to the $60.
All right.
That process takes 3 working days, so you get that record within 3 working days. And there is an urgent process where the person pays $100 in addition to the $60.
All right.
And that process takes 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yes.
Is there a process? Is there any time that someone may be denied, their certificate of character record? Is there any process where that could be denied?
I've never experienced that.
Never experienced that. So once you come, it could be given to you.
Yes, as long as you would have paid your monies and so on, and you have the necessary or the prerequisite documents, then yes.
All right. We drew for a break. With me this morning, we have for you Detective Constable Rodney Morris. We'll be right back after the break, folks. Stay with us. Don't touch it down. Classic Radio to the point for today first. We'll be right back after the break.
The Planning and Development Authority of Grenada, PDA, is enforcing regulations to curb illegal, disorderly, and unauthorized development in several locations throughout the state of Grenada. The authority is concerned that structures mainly associated with vending are negatively impacting the environment, has undesirable public health and sanitation consequences, present obstructions to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, can become projectiles during adverse weather conditions, and generally affect the aesthetics of the nation. The PDA will work along with stakeholder ministries and institutions to effect the demolition, removal, and disposal of structures which fall in the category of illegal and disorderly development, commencing January 2024. In this regard, persons who vend in or occupy such illegal structures are advised to secure their personal belongings and have the structures removed ahead of the planned PDA demolition operations. These actions of the PDA have become necessary to safeguard and protect public health and the environment, ensure the safety and well-being of all citizens and visitors, discourage any future disorderly construction, and encourage compliance to regulations pertaining to physical development in the state of Grenada. This is a message from the Planning and Development Authority of Grenada.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, Eliminate violence.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to the point for today, Thursday, the 29th day of February, here on Classic Radio and the GBN TV. It's to the point with me this morning from the Criminal Records Office. We have with you Detective Constable, that's Rodney Morris. And we're speaking this morning in terms of, how individuals can obtain their character records and so forth. Welcome back, Detective Morris. Once again, my another question I want to ask in relation to our conversation this morning. What if someone out, say, in the diaspora, for say, or in another island within the region is interested in having a certificate of character from in another country and so forth? How do they go about doing this? Share that information with us.
Right. So a person is in another country, wanting a police certificate of character. So that person would have to go to a notary public to get their fingerprints done. So they get their original set of fingerprints done from a notary public. They send to us that set of fingerprints along with a copy of their passport data page, 2 passport size pictures, the treasury receipt. That treasury receipt, they can pay it online as usual. That treasury payment can be made online, or they can have somebody down here, maybe a relative or so on, to make that payment on their behalf.
All right.
Right. These application can be sent via a quick package. Now, we usually have UPS or maybe our very own FedEx. So these packages could be sent, because I know a lot of the times persons make application for the police record and they want it as fast as possible.
Okay.
So these are the quickest channels, in other words, to get this service done.
All right. And I'm assuming now they have to do they have to like contact the office first to gain the necessary information that they need or the sort? I mean, yes, you just explained the process that they can go through. But if someone is over there, they're probably someone in the U.S. or Canada or somewhere in the diaspora listening to us right now.
Right.
And they're probably thinking, hey, I want to get my character record from the department here in Grenada, from the criminal records office here in Grenada.
Right.
For stats. So let's take it for stats. Do they contact it first, or have someone on island contact the office for you, or they can do it personally or via phone call or some way or the other?
Right. So a lot of the times we have people calling in.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we have persons doing the applications through agencies, maybe law firms or other agencies
All right.
doing these applications on their behalf and so on. Yes. But I believe the information is online. They can find the information online as well, the application information.
All right. For the benefit of our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two as relates to the criminal records office, we have Detective Constable Rodney with us this morning, Rodney Morris with us this morning. If you do have a question or two, you can always give us a call, and probably you need a bit more explanation in terms of the information we shared this morning. Feel free to do so. 435-2041. Now, someone may ask a question. When can I visit the office? Is there a business hours? I don't think we shared that information already. Business hours and so forth for the criminal records.
We didn't. Now, our office is usually opened from Monday to Friday for the public, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
All right.
Yes. Sometimes we do try to facilitate persons. I personally try to assist persons in staying back, because sometimes somebody might be working all the way in Grand Anse, and based on the length of time they might get for lunch, it might not afford them to transition to our department and back to work. So usually they might call the office and I would stay back a little bit late just to facilitate them. There are other persons who do the same thing, because we are a public organization and we provide a service to persons. So we do our best to try to accommodate persons as well.
All right.
Also, usually on weekends and public holidays, we have somebody at the office who receive calls from stations to respond to various scenes, occurrences, and so on.
All right.
Yes.
So that's dependent on, of course, the matter that's at hand. You folks will go take care of that in terms of gaining the information that is needed.
Yes.
All right, great. Now, another question that comes to mind in terms of the criminal records office. For particular crimes that may have been committed, how does the function of the criminal record office go through in terms of obtaining that information, especially in terms of when a particular incident occurs?
Right. So as I said before, at the spur of the moment, we may not have the information. We may not know what's happening.
All right.
But a caller might contact, let's say, 911, and they would be transferred to Central Police Station. Now, they would give Central Police Station whatever information that they have. And if it's necessary that the Criminal Records Office, the services of the Criminal Records Office is warranted, then the Central Police Station would contact us to let us know. They would inform us as to the situation, and we would respond accordingly.
Okay, great. We drew for a break again. Let's take it. Don't forget, folks, your listeners and viewers, 435-2041. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask, feel free to give us a call, 435-2041. Let's take a break once again, folks. We will be right back.
The box we say, GBN we say, arts and culture living, rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box, we say. We'll be jamming here on a Thursday.
You see, mention the wing high, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low folder.
It is kind of like you say man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page and YouTube channel for We Culture.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. To the point here for today, Thursday, the 29th day of February, 2024. Welcome back, Detective Constable Rodney Morris from the Criminal Records Office. Don't forget, though, our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two that you may like to ask, get some clarification in terms of our conversation this morning, feel free to give us that call, 435-2041. You can also give us that call via the WhatsApp. My next question for you, of course, Detective Constable Rodney, someone is a victim of a crime. Let's say whatever the crime may be. It could be housebreaking, and there's a robbery and so affiliated with that. I see we do have a caller. Before I continue my question, let's probably entertain the caller, and then I come back with my question. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to you, the officer. My question is that how do a top criminal like me get a clean record? How long do I have to wait? How much years? What do I have to do for a top criminal like me? And I say top, I mean top. You get a clean record. What is it, bro?
Good morning, sir. It sounds like a confession there. Anyway, go right ahead if you could respond to the caller.
I would like you to explain top for me because, I mean, top sounds top, but I need to understand what top means.
Well,
if you could.
The caller is already off already, but maybe we could just tell him. You did give some highlights to it already, but maybe when you say top, well, I guess what he's saying, maybe he's known as a known criminal. All right, just to make it simple, he's known as a known criminal, and he wants to have his record expunged. Maybe that's what he's trying to say.
Right. So I mean, there are certain convictions that cannot be expunged. We're looking at convictions like rape, robbery, violence, homicides relating to capital murder, non-capital murder, offenses that usually carry a sentence of imprisonment for more than 5 years, a term exceeding 5 years.
All right.
These offenses cannot be expunged.
All right.
And regardless of whatever amount of minor offenses you may have, once you have even one of these offenses, none of them will be able to be expunged.
All right.
Yes.
Let's say, for instance, before my next question, someone may have committed an incident, let's say causing harm. Right. The matter have been maybe for some reason the evidence was not fully enough that they were convicted in court for some reason or charged or made a conviction in court. Does that record remain with that individual?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't remain.
It doesn't.
Right. So, but they still have to go through a process of having it expunged, though?
No. If it doesn't remain with the person, then it isn't necessary for them to go through an expungement because.
But let's say the individual was arrested and so forth, and they went through the process.
Okay, so let me explain this. Being arrested, a person being arrested, doesn't mean that the person has a conviction.
All right.
No, the magistrate must impose a sentence relating to something of custodial sentence or something of a fine related to a fine.
All right.
Usually, magistrates might say, okay, I'm going to warn you, so they consider that to be reprimanded and discharged.
All right.
if you're warned, that is not a conviction.
All right.
It isn't considered to be a conviction.
So in that case, you would not have a record remaining there.
We would have a record, providing that, because you see, when matters go to court, usually decisions of the magistrate, other magistrate would want to see different decisions of different magistrates for different offenses that a person might have committed. All right. So yes, this follows that person for court record purposes, but as for conviction record purposes, it does not affect them in getting a job or anything like that. No.
Okay. Just sometimes you hear this, they will say, well, you have a record, you can't get a job, or you have a record for whatever reason. As simple as the crime may be, it causes a problem for you. So
yes.
I just wanted to know if, by you having that, if it will, that record there, that someone could just go ask, can I have a record for GT in terms of what he may have committed some time ago? Would that hinder that individual in any way?
Persons cannot come to our office and request records on person's behalf.
All right.
If it's an ongoing matter in the court, an ongoing investigation, the lawyers can make requests through Commissioner of Police to obtain a record for a person.
Okay.
The magistrates and the prosecutors can make application for records on person's behalf.
Okay.
That's for court purposes.
All right. But no regular citizen cannot come and obtain a record.
You can come and apply for one for yourself.
Understand. So let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I did 4 homicides already, and I was expunged in America.
Really?
Yeah, really. I was expunged because I never got caught for them. You understand?
I hope this is not a serious conversation or is a joke. This conversation is more because he's saying that he has been expunged for 4 homicides. I hope it's something of a jokeful nature from that caller.
But I think he said he never got caught.
He never got caught.
Yeah,
but he just
it's not
like
considered to be an expungement. It's not an expungement to say. An expungement is, let's say you have something existing.
Yes.
There's a conviction. You have a conviction. You have a record sheet, a rap sheet, as Americans would say. If you have a rap sheet, and you have it would prevent you from getting a job somewhere. You make application to the organization to get rid of it. That's expungement.
All right.
But if you don't have, let's say, he said he committed an offense, right? And he went to court, but no sentence was imposed because there was insufficient evidence for the matter to pull through for him to get a sentence, for a sentence to be imposed on him. In that case, then there's no record. There's no rap sheet.
Understand.
There's nothing binding him to that offense.
All right. Well, as he said, he didn't get caught.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to my question before we start accepting the calls. No, someone is a victim of a particular crime. Maybe, as I said, housebreaking, robbery, or something of the sort. What would it be? What's some of the advice that you want to offer them in terms of how they go through the process of, especially where the criminal records office comes in there?
Right. So, God forbids that a person might have been a victim of crime. My advice to you is, the first thing, report it immediately. Immediately, report it immediately. Mm-hmm. That's something we continue to stress on. Another thing is that you would want to avoid yourself from actually walking onto that scene and touching things, because what that would cause is a hindrance in the investigations, as it would, more or less contaminate the scene, so to speak. So we would want to prevent that from happening. If you realize that a place, a specific area has been disturbed, you would want to prevent yourself from venturing into there. Because, for me, this is the area where the police officers might be focusing their investigations apart from other areas. Right. So you'd want to prevent yourself from going there, cause it to remain as original as possible.
All right.
Try your best to keep all surfaces clean, and if an item for some reason is to be removed or repositioned, please use a glove. if that is unable to happen, if you're not unable to do so, do your best to cover it, in other words, as best as possible to preserve. To preserve it.
All right. Because this is where this criminal records office comes in now, because you will be one that doing some of the forensic work, if you can say forensic work in some way or the other, in terms of gathering the information that is certainly needed. All right, interesting to know that. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning, you're welcome.
Oh yes, good morning, JT.
Good morning
how are you today?
Not too bad.
So you're doing a fine job, trust me. Apart from, good morning to your guests, apart from trying to solve crime committed, and I think the police is doing a fine job based on my observation, what measures or what could we do to prevent crime? I wonder if you could tell me that, some of the measures that we could put in place to prevent crime. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Detective Constable, you think you can answer that one in terms of the question from the caller there this morning? Measures that individuals can do to prevent crime or stop crime, as he said?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that, persons are usually advised to do. There are different programs that the police has held over and over, advising persons to do their best to, when they're getting out of the house, to lock the windows and so on, try to put burglar bars in place so that, to prevent persons from actually getting into their homes and so forth. And, we need you, the community, to also assist us in providing some form of deterrent for persons, because we can't do it by ourselves. So, we implore you to do your best to ensure that your premises are as secure as possible, in other words, to prevent these things from occurring.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller, good morning, welcome.
Good morning. If your criminal records were expunged and you are going for employment, and on the form it says, they ask you on the form, your application, they ask you, have you been expunged in the past of any criminal record? How should you answer that question? Thank you.
Thank you, caller. How could someone answer a question of that nature?
For me, you could answer it yes. You could answer it truthfully if you choose to. But yes, you have been expunged. Yes, you wouldn't want to lie. But the fact of the matter is, there isn't anything on your file to say you have that offense or this set of offenses binding you to anything. So there isn't anything that any employer should hold you, ransom to say, well, oh, you have been expunged before, and we want to know what offenses you may have committed in the past. They wouldn't be able to get that information.
All right. So in other words, you're saying if you may have committed a particular crime a couple of years ago and that your record has been expunged and you go for a job and for some reason the said question that the caller just asked is asked of you again. Is it a must for you to give that information? Or
it's not.
It's not a must.
It's not.
Not a must for you to give that information. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. A question I want to ask: do you handcuff or shackle prisoners who you consider as dangerous when you have them in custody?
Thank you, caller. Thank you. I'm not sure if could you answer that or if that's for a different department.
For me, it depends on what we're talking about, because a person could be in custody in the cells and a person could be in custody in a transport moving. If a person is dangerous and they're in a transport moving, or you're conveying them to some location, let's say you're conveying them to the court or so, you would have them in shackles.
Yes.
But if they're in a cell, a confined area, then there's no reason for that.
There's no reason for that.
No.
All right. 435-2041, 435-2041. You could give us a call if you do have a question or two for Officer Small. We're talking this morning, of course, criminal records. In terms, you may want to have a question or two in terms of asking, in terms of having your record expunged, or just get some more information relating to how records are kept. Feel free to give us a call. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. You're welcome. Caller, you may have to lower your radio or whatever device you have in the background before we entertain that call. 435-2041. Let's go back to the phone line once again. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I just want to ask the officer whether or not he thinks that continuous patrol at nights from 9 to 5 would deter people committing crime in different villages. Continuous patrol, different areas, and you have your walkie-talkie, and you make contact with different fellows in different areas. This, in my opinion, would deter certain crime. Could the officer explain to me? Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm not sure if you want to answer. Well, of course, it's a way off our conversation a wee bit, but being a police officer, maybe you can answer it.
We do have patrols. We don't just have nighttime patrols. We have daytime patrols as well. We have community patrols and so on, assisting persons and getting complaints from persons and so on. We do engage the public, and that is a part of the service that we tend to provide for persons, to do our best to ensure their safety and so on. Yeah, so we do patrols day and night.
All right. We're due for a break. Let's take it. We come back with more of the conversation this morning. Stay with us. To the point here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary, Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio. The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
It is important to know what your road signs and markings means. The zigzag lines means you should not park in the marked area. Parking is allowed inside the solid white lines on the edge of the road. Remember, look out for pedestrians. Pedestrians, be sure the vehicle comes to a complete stop before crossing. These tips can save your life. These tips can make our roads safer for all users. Be safe, be seen, be smart. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back, Detective Constable, of course, Rodney Morris with me this morning. We're taking your phone calls, 435-2041. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, I'm calling back because I didn't have a chance to respond when the officer said that you don't handcuff or shackle the prisoners unless in certain instances. But if that is the case, last 3 people who escaped prison the station, it's going to happen again, and I can promise you that over and over. You have to handcuff or shackle these prisoners when you know they're dangerous. Otherwise, how are you going to control them? And this matter is going to occur over and over again. I hate to say that, but just pay attention and watch. You're going to see what happens.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for, of course. Let's continue on a bit of a question. Now, let's speak in terms of the Criminal Records Office in terms of a crime scene location. What advice you give, especially when someone there's a particular incident may have occurred, and they have that it's cordoned off or taped off, as we would say. What are some of the procedures that you would like to, or information I should say, you want to give out, especially to the public, in terms of when that particular or that crime scene is taped off, procedure that they should be following in terms of being regular individuals?
Right. Just a bit of encouragement, I should say. Mm-hmm. Just a bit of encouragement. When a crime occurs and there is barrier tape or a police cordon around that area, I would like to, employ persons to, stay away from the cordon. It's placed there for a reason, and do your best to cooperate with the police, because a lot of the times, especially in areas where you might have a motor vehicle accident, take for example, and for example, they might have a lot of skid marks. Officers who might be responding to that scene might have done a quick cordon, but later on you might want to expand that cordon to the skid marks, because you would have to take the brake impressions, the measurements, and so on. All right. So we want to encourage. I would like to encourage persons to do your best to assist the police, in conducting the investigations, to ensure that the processes are smooth, are fluent.
Can I ease the contamination,
yes,
as we would say, contaminating that particular screen?
As much as possible.
Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning, you're welcome.
Yes. The officer explained that who do serious crimes, like, as you said, rape and armed robbery and stuff like that, cannot get the record expunged. But I'm talking about the minor crimes. How long do someone have to wait? Or what is the procedure? I didn't really hear that part.
Okay. I think we did speak about that, but maybe for the benefit of the listener, you could probably repeat it again.
Right, yes, I did speak about it, but we could go into a little bit more details.
Yeah.
For the minor crimes, that is based on the sentence that is imposed on that particular person. Right, so for the minor crimes, let's say, take for example, a person was charged for obscene language.
Yeah.
Right? And a non-custodial sentence was given to that person. Let's say a fine was given to that person. For that person to be expunged, for that record to be expunged, a time of 4 years must elapse.
All right.
For that person, conviction to be expunged. And that is in case of an adult. If it's a child, then it's 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. For offenses where that carries a penalty of that exceeds, let's say, a term of imprisonment that exceeds 6 months, but it does not exceed 5 years, then that person has to wait a period of 10 years if it's an adult, for that conviction to be expunged. If it's a child, then it's 4 years.
Okay. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, good morning, GT. Good morning, officer. Officer, I hope you are well, because I understand from listening to other programs that the life of a policeman is very hard. I know that one time I was in town and one asked me for my bottle of water, and I said, well, bottom line, they are human beings. Yes. And I wish that one day I would see the uniform have something to accommodate water, because the health people are telling us that we should be drinking water, and you're looking at them for hours, and I heard that they cannot go in the shop even to buy a bottle of water. But set that aside, officer. I am calling because I want you to help us to have a little more confidence in the system. For example, the little boy that the police said he drowned, The lawyer Jerry Edwin, said he died from multiple broken bones, which is a far cry from drowning. Then again, in South St. George, one of the people in your custody, in the police custody, stabbed a policeman, almost killed him. Well, God forbid he was let out and killed somebody later on. But we wondering now that the three people got away and the incident in Grenville and so, how much surveillance the police, the stations have. You tell me that a station, like the station in Grenville, doesn't have cameras at the back. You tell me a station like South St. George doesn't have cameras that people can, sit where they are and just look and see what is going on and so. Please give us some more, help us to have confidence in the system. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Any response to the caller?
I do apologize. I cannot give information in relation to surveillance and so on. But, what I can say is that the police tries, we do our best to within the knowledge and the premise of the law, to regulate as much as possible and to provide an efficient and effective service for you, the general public. So, and we will continue to do that as long as we have the health and strength as given by Almighty God.
All right. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning. Just want to say I appreciate that program this morning and the contribution that the officer is giving. But I have one question, and just as the last caller said, we need the confidence to know that the police is doing their work. I live in a neighborhood that's been plagued for years with smoke and bad behavior. And at this moment, there is a sign up on the pole saying no trespassing. If you caught, you'll be shot on sight. And we have made complaints over and over for a period of years now about smoking and fire burning and causing people to be sick. And we have not been getting justice or getting enough protection in that area. And my question is, two questions I have. One, what happens when we call and complain there's a sign of being shot, and then the police come and investigate that? Two, how long or how much years will we have to keep calling and keep telling us we need to report? And we've been doing that for years, and up to this day, we still have the problem with our neighbor. So we need that confidence that the police is addressing these things, because I know for sure the Bible tells us when justice is not expedited speedily, the hearts of man become evil, and that's why we are having a lot of problems in our community, because people are just retaliating based on the behavior of some people who are not doing the right thing. And we are law-abiding people. We need to get our laws attended to. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. I hope you did understand where the caller is coming from, and you're going to be able to respond.
Right. So, first of all, Miss, I do thank you for your, input. Let me apologize for whatever inconvenience you may have been into. I do apologize for that. In relation to fires and smoke and all these things and them, I used to be a member of the fire department way back. And, usually when persons lighting fires, they're supposed to inform their neighbors, and if you report the matter to the police, it's in their right to, respond and so on. I do apologize. I don't know what the situation is, however, what you can do if you have issues, there's a community relations department that you can call to, make your information known, and they would do their best to assist you in this regard. As for me, I cannot say any much more in relation to that.
All right, let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes. Just the officer said that it takes between 4 to 10 years to clean a simple minor incident. as obscene language. I'm just saying that I do think that that's just wasting the police time, because obscene language is something that is not really, shouldn't even be a crime, but we have it as a crime in this country. But taking somebody's name and will not be life for 4 to 5 years just for obscene language. Who do we go to get this law changed? Because to me, I just hold up somebody's life for just a word, and that is unfair. So I think that laws and them should be changed and move to more serious crimes. You put people name down for serious crimes where the minor crimes should just be maybe a couple months or a year. It cannot be 4 to 10 years just for obscene language. You curse and police arrest you and charge you, and then you get 10 years before your record clear. I mean, that's just too much, brother. I mean, that's just wasting police time and effort. So I just think that they should really change this law, because that doesn't make any sense right now in this modern time.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. You want to respond to the caller?
Let me apologize. We were speaking about minor crimes. I only used obscene language as an example. Now, you wouldn't find a magistrate giving a person 6 months for obscene language, or maybe 4 years for obscene language. However, in terms of minor crimes, which are summary offenses, obscene language falls under that. You also have causing harm and other offenses falling under that. That's why I used obscene language as an example. But you would rarely find a magistrate giving somebody such a stiff punishment for just obscene language.
Okay. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Morning, GT. Morning to the officer. Officer, what I want to find out, we know that it is a season and a time for everything. But and we have things in the olden days or in the past days, and we change them. We just give them a different name or something like that. But it could be it's the same function, or you maybe make it easier for them. But what I want to ask, in our days, 50s, 60s, we come right into the 70s. I don't know if you know about that. We used to have, like how you have the traffic officers. We had the GBC or GVC in some khaki clothes with a brown socks and a shoes. And, well, look, you have a lot of communication. Nowadays, in those days, it was a whistle. No police in a radio, and it's a whistle. So anywhere time you hear a whistle start blowing, a police is asking for help. So I want to know what is the different, if it's a different function or so with the traffic officers and the GVC. I don't know if you know about that. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your contribution this morning. Any response to the call?
I do apologize. I cannot provide information.
That's like way before your time, right? Way before
I have heard about these things, but I've never been able to experience them. Yeah, way before my time.
All right. 4:45. We have approximately 5 minutes left on our program this morning. Let's entertain another caller. Let's go to the line. My bad on that. Caller, good morning. You're welcome. Good morning to you, caller. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to raise a concern as it relates to the trivial aspect of the police force. And I think that there seems to be woefully inadequate. I'm going to tell you why. I've sent a video recording of someone stealing my crops. And to date, nothing has happened.
Caller, for some reason or the other, we're having a bad connection with you this morning. Maybe you could probably go to another location and call us back or the sort, because in terms of the call quality, of course, it's really bad. We're barely hearing what you're saying. So you may have to call us back, 435-2041. I'm looking at a question here. And someone is saying via the WhatsApp this morning, when a youth commits a crime, is there a record automatically cleared once they reach the age of 18? Someone is asking that question.
No, sir. No.
It doesn't happen. All right, let's go back to that. Let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, I'm back on. Really pretty last night.
Go right ahead, please.
Hello, are you? Yes, I have had a video recording sent to the South St. George police station, where a young man was stealing some cabbages of mine over a year now, and nothing has happened from that. I've given them the name of the person, and everything at the source, and nothing hasn't come out of it. So I'm asking myself, right, because I'm invested in cameras, I have on 2 of those classical lightings, and the question is, what are you doing about that?
All right, caller, thank you so much. I guess any response to the caller, of course, if you can?
I would encourage you to, try to get back to the police. Give them a reminder. Find out what's up with the situation, and they will try their best to assist you in that regard.
All right, let's take another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm calling just a suggestion to the officer on the behalf of the prison when they in prison or in cell. The key thing, what I see happen here now, where these prisoners get out, nobody could have made them out if they're running. So the key thing I feel is to put on a uniform when they're in prison or they're going to court. No dressing up in no jacket and tie. Put on a fluorescent thing where everybody knows that's a prisoner. So in case they're running, somebody will see. And they look 2 prisoners running, and they can pick them.
Caller, good morning once again. For some reason, the quality of the call is very bad. It's very difficult to understand what the caller is saying. I'm not sure if the caller's location, signal strength from wherever he's at is causing that. Let's see. Detective Constable, we get into that stage of the morning when we get set to wrap. We just have approximately 3 minutes left. Any closing comments before we take a wrap this morning? A bit of reminder you want to throw to our listening and viewing comments, especially information that relates to the Criminal Records Office that we want to throw out before we take a wrap this morning?
In respect to the application,
yes,
a lot of the times we have persons coming in with photographs, and it's not really of standard quality. So we want to encourage persons, when you go to the different photo shops, please let them know that you want a passport-sized photo. The photo should not be more than 6 months old, and not be larger than 45 by 35 millimeters, nor should it be smaller than 32 by 26 millimeters. It must be a close-up of the applicant's face, including the top of the head and shoulders. You must see the shoulders and so on. And, we want to ensure that we have, proper documentation, to provide you with good information, so that when you take it to your workplace, or when you travel with it, or when you send it overseas, they have a good view of what you look like, a good representation as to what you look like. Yes, so we want to also encourage persons again to try your best to assist the police officers whenever they're out and dealing with crime scenes. Cooperate with the police, so you assist us in ensuring that our investigations, our investigative processes are running smooth, and so on. Thank you very much.
All right. Detective Constable, I want to thank you once again for being on the program this morning and for sharing information that you shared. I certainly hope that the listening and viewing public, especially in terms of how to come about and get you that criminal records from someone, or get under the process of obtaining the records and so forth, I certainly hope they do understand the process that they do have to go through. Thanks once again for being on the program this morning.
You're welcome, son, and I pray that the information that I did my best to assist you with was able to meet the requirements of the people.
All right. I certainly hope you did. Hey, folks, let's take a wrap for today's program. Thanks for being on the program this morning, folks. All who contributed some way or other, your calls, you sat at home, you listened. Those of you, of course, via the WhatsApp and Facebook, send your contribution. Thank you also. Until then, have yourself a great day, folks. That's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. That's where we say goodbye.